Hello everyone, it is Jen with another process drawing. My cat will probably occasionally provide commentary as well because she's been a real needy little thing today. Anyway, I am drawing a couple of gals being pals from Final Fantasy 13. This drawing is for a good friend of mine who's been really awesome. She wanted to see them in my style and I was happy to oblige. She also provided me with a reference drawing of two real people, so I didn't really have to think too much about the pose. However, sometimes adapting anime characters to real people poses can be challenging. Or maybe it is for me, I don't know. But the proportions were kind of wonky and I had to go back and fix some things. So the sketch in this video is a little different from the final that you end up seeing later. She also wanted to make sure she could frame this thing and hang it on a wall. So I had to consider the size of the picture itself. And really, if you are creating a piece of artwork that you want people to hang on their wall, which you always should, really, if you're doing it for people to buy, you really need to think about common frame sizes and how your image is going to look in a frame. Usually a standard frame will cover up anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch around the edges of your picture. So you don't want to cover up anything important like your signature, which I see a lot of even professional artists do. When people bring in pieces to my workplace to be framed. So, little tip from me to you. Digital frames, like digital print sizes, are becoming more common, but they're still not terribly common. And it's a real pain in the butt to buy a frame if it's not a standard size. It's more expensive as well. I mean, you can get it done, but it would be more money. And you want people to spend money on your work rather than framing your work. But anyway, so here I am putting carbon paper on the back of the sketch so I can transfer it to the illustration board. It's a lot cleaner that way. See, Sushi agrees. It's a lot cleaner that way rather than just drawing directly on the board and erasing afterward. It also keeps from having any weird like ghost lines or anything. So I usually use the hardest type of pencil I can get my hands on, and that helps transfer the carbon onto the board very cleanly. You have to be sure in your marks, obviously. Ta-da! Beautiful. And then I proceed to ink, which this time around I used my Prismacolor brush pens, which I really love. However, they are pigment rather than alcohol ink. So on certain types of surfaces, they tend to smear, which if I had a choice of doing this again, I would probably not use a brush pen of this nature because it's better on a more absorbent surface. Microns work a lot better on illustration board, in my opinion. But I still think it turned out pretty well. I just had to be more careful when I was coloring, so all's well that ends well. I'm really good at rolling with the punches, which I think I have already discussed in a previous video. So, it's a good skill to have as an artist. Okay, next up we are setting the tone of the piece, going through and doing an underpainting in a single color to kind of unify everything in the piece. I was going for kind of a sunset, night approaching, calm, peaceful vibe, so I picked a nice baby blue. Also, I think it looks nice with a lot of different skin tones. Blue undertones and purple undertones are both very good. And then I looked up a picture of pretty sunsets so that I could reference them to make a very nice, I guess they're on an island or some kind of seaside getaway, which is very relaxing. And I just really love Fang's very silky, shiny garb thing, blue garb thing. I don't know what it is. I haven't played Final Fantasy 13 if you haven't figured that out yet. But Fang is really awesome and attractive, and if she were real, I would totally hit on her. So I guess that's endorsement enough, right? And she's also darker skinned, especially compared to her girlfriend. So that's also something that I had to take into consideration when I was coloring. Make sure that there's a good contrast between the two of them. Lighting is something you really have to consider when you are coloring skin tones, especially for darker skinned people, because I think lighting ends up kind of whitewashing a lot of darker skinned characters when an artist is not paying attention to what they're doing. They just shade the skin like they would a lighter skinned person. So that's something I'm still actively working on improving. And you should too! Draw all kinds of skin tones, draw all kinds of different people. It's fun. And also makes your art more interesting, because we're all sick of seeing the same crap over and over. Really, I'm just running my mouth, because I don't know. I think I've pretty much covered the bases as far as my Copics go, right? Right now, I'm just kind of filling in the colors for the characters themselves, and then after I kind of establish the dominant color scheme, I'm going to go back into the background and fill in colors that kind of help them pop. So I decided on a nice deep green here to contrast especially with the skin tones. And then a very nice gauzy curtain in the background. Oh, so relaxing, so loving, so beautiful. Then I go back in with a Prismacolor pencil to kind of lighten it up, make it a little more gauzy, throw in some more sunlight reflecting, and it's done! Wow, beautiful. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Love you. Bye.